Welcome to the Simple Minds podcast, where six mates unpack three topics over a new drink each week. Fuck it, just go with that. We'll fix it if it's...
Welcome to Simple Minds, episode 17. Yes, this is attempt 2. We have had technical difficulties. It's going to take us 30 minutes to get going.
30 hours.
30 hours, pretty much.
Like 30 hours.
So, I'm hosting today, Justin. We are a couple men down. We're missing the Santiago, Marco, Magic Mike, Magic Matt.
Magic Mike. Missing myself.
Mr. Hanham.
You got for another float, Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
Joined, so we've got the awesome foursome today.
Ooh.
With some red wine. It is Alcumi from Franklin River, Cab Merlot.
2016.
Yeah, 2016. No real story behind this.
I can give you a little story. Alcumi is
for
the Aboriginal name for a place we chose. There you go.
There we go. I chose Alcumi.
That's we chose.
I know.
Who'd you
But
go with?
It's Western Australia wine.
it is a West Australian. That is the reason I picked it. Not sure if we've had a WA wine on the show yet. So, I mean, we're from WA.
Tassie.
Margaret River is well known for, even though this is not from Margaret River. WA,
Franklin River.
yeah, is obviously known for wine. So I thought I'd try it out. I don't know what you guys think.
I've not had a taste
Cheers.
yet. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, ching.
Good glass.
Sniffy sniff.
Not too much, Trav. You got a game tonight.
Taking a page out
I like
of
that.
Marco's book.
Need some
It's very
cheese.
fruity.
Did you say cheese?
I love some cheese right now.
It's a bit heavier, isn't it?
It is a bit
It is a
heavy
bit, yeah.
Right.
for a Cab Merlot.
I should go sit back in the couch.
Black currant, like it's got a real.
Got a real
Still haven't
wine
learned how
flavour.
to critique drinks yet.
Marco is going to be very unhappy with us.
It doesn't give you.
Well, it says vibrant fruit.
Oh, there you go.
Doesn't say which fruit.
It's quite smooth.
Yeah, it doesn't give you that aftertaste.
Grapes.
You know how sometimes.
It's a grape flavour.
No, it's good. So
No, it is delicious.
we are joined today. I didn't go through everyone who is here. So we have Conrad
G'day.
Francis. We have Travis Hato
Hey.
and Michael Duncan.
Hello.
And myself. So something we were trying to introduce was a little bit of a bio on who is hosting. So I thought I'd just give a quick rundown of myself. I run a 3D animation, I guess you could call it, creative studio out of Perth called Blank Canvas. We have offices, Perth, Sydney, Melbourne. I don't know where else to go.
That's it.
That's it.
Married to the lovely V.
It's my wife's 30th birthday today, so happy birthday
birthday,
to her.
Happy birthday, mate.
Yep.
Is she coming
She
in?
almost outlifted him today.
Yes, at the gym, she almost outlifted me. No, she didn't. But
He was laughing too much. He had to drop the
that's
weight.
right. Yeah, look, I
Couldn't focus.
don't really know what else there is to say other than, I run a small to medium business, which I've grown over the last 4 years. It's been challenging.
What's your
Learned a
favourite
lot.
food?
My favourite food?
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Pasta.
No,
No, damn.
no.
Asian.
I don't know that about you.
I really love a good steak.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any particular cut?
So, ribeye.
And how do you like it cooked?
Medium.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're
We're
good.
not going to ease off and go medium rare.
No,
Nah,
medium rare.
if a medium can be done well, then I'm really happy.
Yeah,
Medium rare is
ribeye's my
always
favourite
safe,
cut.
right?
You're confusing me now. If a medium can be done well,
Not
Yeah,
well
but
done.
you get a medium
Well done,
rare,
medium.
and
Yeah.
you run the risk of it being like really too rare because
Yeah.
the cook doesn't.
Depends
Not
what
a good
restaurant
spice,
you eat
not a
at.
good
It
spice.
does.
Well, I don't-
It could be risky business, right?
Do you like a tomahawk?
The tomahawk's pretty good.
Could you do a tomahawk, like a kilo tomahawk? Could you eat one
I
of
think I've
those?
done a 700. I haven't tried lately.
Yeah, I've done a 700. I
Yeah.
could do a kilo.
If you ever go to New York, there's a place called Mighty Quinn's Barbecue.
I am going to New York. I will go there. Thanks,
And
Travis.
there's a fantastic tomahawk, unbelievable. And there's literally like just all the meats that you can want in one place.
What's it called?
Mighty Quinn's.
Shout out to the Mighty Quins. I'll be there in about 2 weeks.
look out for Conrad.
I'm not sure the podcast will be up before then, but
If you see a man with watermelon pants coming in, that's him.
Yeah. Or 6 months ago. This gets released. So today on content, again, we're trying new format, 2 topics. We have Hato and Conrad. I believe, Hato, you're going to go first.
I believe so. Thank you, Conrad, for giving me the wiggles fingers. How should I start this? I don't know, it's probably just more of a topic rather than a question.
Okay.
I just wanted to chat
sit
about
back and relax.
mission and vision.
Oh. Fair enough.
I hate this topic. I love it.
I feel like, so for any of you that are new to listening, that our core group, we kind of catch up on a regular basis throughout the week in different scenarios, going to the gym, going for breakfast, just other work stuff. And I feel like we've been having a lot of conversations around this lately. So that's probably why it's been in my head. So for anyone that doesn't know, mission and vision statements, they're generally, I don't want to pigeonhole them into businesses, but I think they're very important to have just in one's life. But we'll talk about business first, and then we can kind of filter on through into your personal vision and your mission.
Didn't you hear my statement last week? Why do we have to put caps on things?
This is true, but I'd just like to have some direction in our conversation to start us off, and then we can open the floodgates and off you go.
Right.
Because we all know that you're going to do that anyway, Conrad.
Yeah, the floodgates.
So,
Biting my tongue.
so I googled, went to Google because
I think that's a good point. What's the definition from you? Because
Yeah.
vision, mission, and values, some people have different interpretations between each of them.
And you're talking business sense just now.
Yeah, so I actually did this for my business probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, just reassessed them for bought a little manufacturing business that we manufacture pewter products. Pewter's a tin alloy, antimony and mainly tin, basically lots of promotional items. And I really sat down, I've had it for about a year now, and really sat down and looked at my mission and vision statements, and that's probably another reason it's kind of in my forefront. But so I googled what a mission and vision statement technically is by Mr. Google, and it goes, a mission statement is intended to clarify the what and who of a company, while a vision statement adds the why and how as well. As a company grows, its objectives and goals may change. Therefore, vision statements should be revised as needed to reflect the changing business culture as goals are met. So to recap that really quickly, your mission is generally your who and your what, and your vision is your why and your how. So another one I kind of found was Coca-Cola's. I thought that would be a good brand to have a look
I
at.
don't drink Coca-Cola.
Me neither.
No, right.
So let's see it because it'll be interesting.
So Coca-Cola's mission is to refresh the world, to inspire moments of optimism and happiness, to create value and make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, they tick those boxes with their marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's their mission. And then their vision, they have 6 Ps. So I'll run through them really quickly. People, portfolio, partners, planet, profit and productivity. So their vision is people be a great place to work where people are inspired to be the best they can be. Portfolio, bring to the world a portfolio of quality beverage brands that anticipate and satisfy people's desires and needs. Partners, nurture a winning network of customers and suppliers. Together we create mutual enduring value. Planet, be a responsible citizen that makes a difference by helping build and support sustainable communities. Profit, maximise long-term return to share owners while being mindful of our overall responsibilities. And productivity, be a highly effective, lean and fast-moving organisation.
Wow.
Very good company. I mean, it's in the Warren Buffett portfolio for many years, so they've ticked all of those boxes for a long time. I think they went private in 1918. I might be a year or two out.
Yeah.
And their share price has gone from $40 on an IPO, and if you had one share when they floated, it'd be worth around $10 or $11 million by year 2012.
Wow.
So they pretty much ticked those boxes.
Yeah. And Sorry,
I was just going to say it had cocaine in it originally.
Yeah, the original recipe, yeah. I think, but that was in the 1800s.
Yeah. Before it was the...
No, 1900s. No, 1800s, yeah.
But that's why I picked them, because they had this longevity and they've been around for a long time, so I thought it'd be a good basis point to start from.
And did you know that the original Coke bottle was modelled off a woman's body?
Yes, I did know that.
And did you know that Coca-Cola invented the Santa Claus Red?
I did hear that.
From one of their initial adverts was the first people to...
Trivia Friday.
Trivia Friday.
The shit we know.
Coca-Cola.
Let's go to a quiz night.
Back Coca-Cola.
About Coke.
I guess...
Do we agree with them as like in terms of what the mission and the vision?
I think they
is?
deliver. I think they deliver there from what I've experienced with them. I mean, I don't drink their product these days.
No, I mean in terms of like marrying up to each individual's definitions of mission and vision.
To me, yeah. I mean, they've got a very different way of articulating their vision with 3 Ps. My apologies.
6 Ps.
6 Ps.
3 Ps.
And some people do lead with their mission, some people lead with their vision, right? So it really just depends on how you see it. I lead with my vision and then follow it by my mission. It was interesting that you said that vision was the why and the how.
Yeah.
I really think, in my experience and how I use vision is really just my why, and my what and how tends to be in my vision and values. Sorry, my mission and values. So I think, but 6.5 does the other. I mean, I think as long as those items are out there in some way, shape, or form, and that you're talking to them on a regular basis, then you, your team, your clients, whoever you're marketing to, have a very clear understanding of what you're trying to deliver and how you're going to get there.
It's funny, the one thing that I watched from a very sort of, not early age, but from a very early business age, was the Simon Sinek. I don't know the actual name of his video.
Start with why.
It is just start with why.
32 million.
The golden...
the start with why.
32 million views it's had now, and I think when I might have even showed it to you, it was around 9 million.
Yeah, I remember. When I was about 18, I looked at it. Anyway, one of the quotes from that video is basically, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So going back to your mission and vision, I think it's such an integral and important part of knowing why you're actually within a business or why you're doing it rather than what you're doing. Because if you're just looking for outcomes or just looking for money, then I think you're not in it for the wrong reason, but you're not going to be able to sustain your suffering for your passion or whatnot or whatever.
But it's feeling that your why is talking to your most emotive part of your brain, right? And so when you're communicating through your why, you're able to move and influence people a lot easier because you're not dealing with the conscious barriers that they're programmed with. So the clarity you have in communicating your why, your vision, in my opinion, you're then able to influence and manoeuvre people en masse, which is what Coke do really well.
Same with Apple.
Yeah, Apple do it real well.
You look at Apple's marketing strategy and it'll be a person snowboarding down the side of a mountain.
It's all feeling.
And it's basically all about feeling. At the end, it'll come up with a iPad, and there'll be no specs or nothing. So it's purely to emote that feeling within a person watching it.
A good word, emote.
Emote.
Well, they build tribes, don't they? I mean, that's what they do.
Well, good brands do.
Yeah.
Good brands build those tribes, build those following, and they're hanging on every word and having every movement. I mean, you get the lines outside the Apple store when they're about to release their new iPhone or a new bit of tech, which is obscene. But
it doesn't really matter about the product at all. It's about being part of the
movement. Yeah.
Movement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful.
I caved in for a while.
You did.
It's funny you say you start with your vision rather than your mission. Because
Why is it funny, Travis?
No, it's not funny.
Funny. Haha.
It's interesting that you said that because a lot of the research that I've done in the last month or so about bigger businesses and companies and stuff, you can really only find their vision rather than their mission. And you've got to read kind of deeper into their sort of their being to get their mission. So they put a lot of their vision out there for the world to see rather than their mission. So that's why.
Well, I'll tell you how I see it. I see the vision as the pinnacle. It's what you're striving to get to. I use the mission as my dialogue or my roadmap to get there, and my values are the things I need to do, the footsteps towards on that journey to get to that pinnacle. That's how I articulate it to people. And for me to take them on that journey, they need to understand that these are the steps and these are the values that I want to be ticking boxes on. And if they're not experiencing those steps, then they're not going to be taken on that journey.
Yeah, well, that's how I've come to realise, well, understand vision, mission and values lately, because there were a few definitions, and I remember going through in the early days with my business, trying to establish these. And you can get conflicted, and I've kind of come to understand them as, I guess, pretty much what you just said, was that your vision is the ultimate end game, and you can
The end result.
The end result, and you can have a personal, individual vision as well of who you want to become and who you want to be, and you can have multiple missions that satisfy that one vision. And I've taken so vision is more a little bit more of the why, and then the mission is something I've interpreted it more as something that's tangible and achievable and that can actually move. So you might have those missions where we're looking at a mission statement right now on the whiteboard in the room.
Matt Hannum from Visible.
Matt
We've got
Hannum,
you
which
covered,
is, his is a defined number of enable 2,000 people to amplify their business online by 2020. So it's kind of a very measurable target where the vision is a little bit more arbitrary, because there's that other element
that's
which is
interesting, right?
interesting because
I've seen others do that in their vision statement.
yeah, which is interesting because we talk a lot about it's not the destination, it's the journey.
It's a journey, which is why you're probably saying or seeing in your research that you're seeing more people lead with their mission. Lead with their mission, or did you say vision?
No, vision.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said mission.
No, you're right.
But the vision is what, from my experience, is a little bit more fluffy. And
Well, the vision's the emotive part, isn't
and
it?
the mission is more defined. Like if we achieve this mission,
Yeah.
we are getting closer to our vision, and then your values, essentially who you are along the way, who you need to be, or who you are to achieve the mission, which gets you closer to the vision. And the vision might be huge in terms of legacy or carried on, or it may never be attainable within your lifetime. Yeah, I know you're having a bit of interest with that word lately.
All right, so to put it into perspective, say someone who's never thought about it, or heard of this concept or thought about it too much, how would you go about setting off on that journey? Like, what do you reckon? What are the first steps? Should we 3 tips or something like that? Should we be looking at the vision at exactly why you're doing something first, or are you looking at?
So you've got to aim for an end result. So what is the end result you're aiming for? At the biggest, highest, most possible level you're prepared to dream to get to.
And we're just talking business right now,
Yeah.
and we'll go into personal because that's a whole other kettle of fish. But
Mine fits both sides, just because I don't talk business or personal.
okay.
But yeah.
But a lot of but for someone that works in a marketing
Sure.
agency and they have their own vision, they can't actually put it into perspective because they don't have their own business. So you
Well,
can't.
they can. I mean, I think you've got to understand the part you play en route to allowing the business to deliver its vision, mission, values.
Yeah.
So I think I don't buy in the fact that employees or whoever don't subscribe to or don't have. They all
It depends
do.
if the company's been proactive in getting people on board with
I
with
completely
the
understand,
vision.
yeah.
So I mean, if you've got people in the company that don't know what the vision is, how
Yeah.
are they ever going to? If we're looking at purely from a company point of view,
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to talk to your values, your vision, and mission,
Yeah.
almost through all of your communications.
through everything.
Yeah,
Well,
through-
that's what builds every
Yeah.
bit of communication
Yeah.
that you deliver in the
it's
business.
got to reap that.
Yeah.
Well, coming back to that as well, Marco posed a question a couple episodes ago of like, what's that one truth that no one else believes in? I'm not sure that's exact wording. And typically that's where you find companies sprout out into other things because there's individuals who are either working for an organization or they're doing something and they don't agree with or feel like the current company is satisfying. So then they have a vision of something else. And then that's what typically gets them and tips them over and they start this business and then that's the reason that the why, which they build the following because they want to be different or doing something else. And the strongest companies are the ones who do well, are the ones who do have those strong visions. or a strong
It's
why.
what gets you through your shit, man.
That's how you get everybody together. I mean, that's how
Yeah.
humans became
Yeah.
covering the earth like they do because of vision.
you believe
because of
in-
You
stories.
believe that
believe
Captain
in
Cook
one-
is going to take you to where he
Yeah.
says he's going to take you.
Yeah, or you
Yeah.
believe in something that doesn't exist yet. So that's the other element.
Well, generally
of
it is. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why it ties in real well with entrepreneurship, to give you some clarity as to where you're throwing your darts at.
Yeah.
Because you can throw them up in the air. Who really cares where they land? They'll probably land in your head.
I mean, to answer your question of where do you start? I mean, it's hard. We actually went through visioning recently because my business, we're revisiting our mission and our values, and I was going through personal visioning as well of the longer game. And what was interesting is that when I redid this exercise, is very much none of it has changed, and it's almost like that. You got to just find a way to. I don't know how everyone else feels, but I feel like you got to connect with yourself first
Yeah.
and understand what your deepest kind of desires are, because your it's a little bit high level, but your heart kind of knows what it is that you're after. And what was super interesting, yeah, it's nice,
No, I
it's
like
cute,
that, man.
but it's that intuition.
Yeah, really
that
close to you.
intuition speaks to you, and there's hints of it depending on how clouded your mind is. There are hints of it, and I guess you got to try and learn to listen, which is the whole alchemist, right? Learn to listen. What does that intuition keep telling you? If you're in a business and it's like you keep being frustrated, or you don't believe that the company is doing the right thing, but you love that industry, you love that whatever it is, you got to keep listening
Or
to
you're
that.
comparing yourself to other people. You're letting the ego get in the way. You know,
Well,
you've got
it
to
could
try
be-
and get the ego out the way.
Yeah, but it could be done better.
It's through the ego. The ego is stopping you getting to that soul connection, that creative connection, right? So I don't think you can avoid going through your ego. I think it's right at the gate.
You've got to
And if you've got a strong vision, it does pull you into going through adversity or suffering
It has
or
to.
whatever it looks like. Because, I mean, if we're talking pure business, and we've touched on this a few times, it's bloody tough. It doesn't make any sense half the time. And that's what the vision keeps pulling you through, the why of why you started and why you wanted to do those things. And you do need to check yourself every so often, whether because you just get carried away in the flurry in the day-to-day. But in terms of finding it,
We found it. Well, this is the technique I've come to use now. It's a Japanese term called ikigai, I-K-I-G-A-I, and it's the intersection of 4 circles. And those 4 circles are what you love, what you do, what you're good at, what you get paid to do, and what the world needs. And the intersection of those four, the real middle part, is effectively what ikigai is. And ikigai stands for a reason for being. So if you can get to that point, and it's going to be a variable because it's obviously 4 things, and the overlaps. So the overlap between what you love and what you are good at, and the overlap is your passion. The overlap between what you're good at and what you get paid for is your profession. The overlap between what you get paid for and what the world needs is your vocation. And the overlap between what the world needs and what you love is your mission.
Yeah.
So to me, it's very clear when you're very honest with yourself and if you're honest with your business and what you're trying to achieve. I think all of those components are very simple and very clear. The question is, how often do you talk to it? How often are you enacting and enabling it?
I think that's a key thing. That's one thing I've been bad at, is revisiting it on a regular basis
Yeah.
and going deeper and deeper and trying to really work it out. Because it's a very easy thing to sort of just
The funny thing is, I
brush
don't
off
even
and-
think you work it out. I think it finds you.
Yep.
I really do. I really do think it just finds you. I think what you're doing is effectively what you love to do, right? I mean, if I was to say to you what you love, that would be a very simple answer for you, right?
Yep.
And what you're good at, that would be a very simple answer for you. And where those two intersect is what you're passionate about.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's pretty easy. And then what you're good at and what you get paid for, that'd be pretty simple to figure out. That's your profession.
Yep.
So when we go through that, as hard as it looks like, all we do is just answer the question honestly, and you'll see exactly what it is. And it'll be so damn simple.
And that's where it comes back to what Justin was saying. It's that sort of gut. Go with the gut. Go
Yeah.
with the heart.
But it's
Yeah.
actually answering it honestly.
Yeah, answering honestly.
Because the
Yeah.
amount of people that lie to themselves,
Yeah,
or
because they're wearing whatever hat on, their business hat or their personal hat, or they're talking to their partner hat or they're talking to their mate's hat. You know, just be fucking honest. And it really is simple. You know, there were some light bulb moments last week when we ran that session with Marco, Justin, Matt, and Dale. And Marco struggled to figure out what his vision was. He thought it was wishy-washy. And I said, mate, your vision is how you want to leave someone feeling when they've watched your video. And he suddenly got it. It's the end result. So it's the end result of those four things interacting. What is it that you're wanting to leave?
Legacy.
Well, legacy is an interesting one, and I don't really want to go into it too much because legacy to me is something you can't aim for. Legacy is what you're talked about when you're gone.
Yeah.
Or what people value from you. That's their legacy.
Yeah,
like my dad didn't live his life for a legacy. He lived his life to live his life.
Yeah.
His legacy is what he's left behind.
But you have control over that to a degree.
Do
don't
you?
Well,
I don't think you can aim for it.
what you do in life is obviously going to be seen by other people.
Potentially. Well, who else saw what my dad did? Who else would value that? Only people that he interacted with, right?
Yeah.
So.
But you were still seeing his mission, vision, the stuff he was doing became that legacy. Yeah, in your eyes.
In my eyes, that's right. So my dad's legacy to me is very different to what my dad's legacy might be to my sister, my mother, my brother.
But I mean, you could start acting. Anybody could start acting like a dick or being an idiot, and that will affect your legacy down the track because people are watching you.
Potentially, potentially, it's how you take things. But don't forget, whatever the impact my father's had on me through what he's done for me, you guys have been impacted by it.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's legacy. You guys don't know the man.
Yeah.
So I don't think legacy is something you can aim for. You just have to aspire to be the best human being you can be.
Yeah.
And that's the breadcrumb trail you leave behind.
Or if you get so worried about leaving a legacy and people, what people think of you, you're really setting yourself up to fail.
Fail, 100%.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, you're always then fighting you're
not being authentic.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to run into struggles of being authentic, and your vision should be authentic. And yeah, I think as well, like what was interesting is, particularly when you're creative, Hato, you're a creative photography. I started my business creating 3D, and Duncan. I mean, Conrad,
you print money, man.
You print money, but you create in other ways.
My first name's Michael, by the way.
But
Dunky.
Mike's on the mic. But But yeah, you need to. What was interesting is tying to it. Like, why do you like creating? It's because other people get to experience and share
the end result. What I just saw on your desk.
What it is that you make.
It made me feel good. You wouldn't let me share it with anyone because it's top secret. But
well, by the time this is released, we could be able to share it, but we don't need to go into the details.
No, but I felt fantastic. That's why I wanted to share it.
Yeah. So it's kind of those emotions, and I think the vision should, from one of the epiphanies I had, is tying it to emotion, which comes back to why, rather than necessarily an outcome, meaning either legacy or money value or some other tangible, to some degree, materialistic thing. I think if your vision is tied to like something like that, it's not the right vision. Just
like I said, just do what you love. Acknowledge what you're good at, and understand what you get paid for, and just fill the gaps of what the world fucking
and acknowledge
needs.
that it might take you 20 years to find it,
or 40, or 50,
and
or
I think
60.
that's the other thing. Don't beat yourself up over if you don't know what it is.
Yeah,
or what it looks
enjoy the
like.
journey,
and bringing that round full circle to the point that, like, if you are an employee of a company or a business, you can still fulfill all those 4 points
100%,
absolutely,
within the company's vision.
Align yourself to a company that you want to be aligned with, so that you can live your value in line with their value.
And if your company doesn't have any idea on their vision, mission, or values, get out.
Yeah, shut the doors, burn the boats.
Get out, because you're not doing yourself any favours, and they will struggle with, like, they might do fine because they might have an amazing thing, but long run they won't be around for.
No.
They won't be around. The strong companies or
strong people.
Strong people. Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it. Are very clear on their vision, mission, and then what their principles or values are.
Jeez,
So
that's almost a mic drop moment there.
boom.
Justin out.
Well, Conrad, you're up. Then let's do it. No, I think that was really, really good.
It was good. We've just gone through that experience. So
It's pretty topical.
Very top of mind at the
probably
moment.
been the last 2 weeks for me.
Yeah.
And obviously for one of our fellow colleagues at 7am Breakfast is Dale Nelson. Shout out Dale, formerly of...
But it's interesting that the reason I bring it up as well is because, so I'm 28. I have seen so many people go from high school and they study.
You don't look 28, Trav, by the way.
I've been using this face cream.
No, you look 35.
I've been knocking off a few years actually. Anyway, so these people that I've have grown up with, they've gone through high school, they've finished university. That was their goal, to finish the university, and they've gotten this good job, or a job that's deemed as good in society, sort of thing, because they finished their degree, and then they work for 2 years and they go, oh shit, what's next? Because they're within the system. And I think a lot of people, if they go back to that vision, mission sort of awareness of what they actually want in life after that, they will get out of that rut of when they're 26, 28, 30 sort of thing, and they don't know actually what they want to do. Because you see so many people go for 2 years into one job and then they go, oh shit, this is not what I want to do, I'm getting bored, I'm going 2 years to another job, and 2 years to another job, sort of thing. And it's a very, it's a pattern that I've noticed,
People just fall into sort of conformity, don't they? I mean, it's sort of...
But I think the big trouble is people fall into conformity is because they don't actually know what they want.
Yeah.
And they don't know what they like. And I think that's where you just need to experiment. And as much as you can.
Go and travel, see things,
you need
do
to,
things, and then be very aware of what you feel like you love doing. If you suddenly find yourself ecstatic and time goes and you're doing something what is that you're doing? And do more of that.
That's a very good reference point. I think that's where Marco would love this. I believe that's where he started to really connect with part of his passion, which was, what do I lose time doing? Where do you completely lose time?
Sleeping.
Everyone's passion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not mine.
But it's no.
I hate sleeping.
It is when you can lucid dream and fly, man.
That's not sleeping though.
Well, exactly. But
That's
It's got the badge. It's got the badge over here, so be
Sleep
careful.
badge.
The sleep badge.
All right, shall we move on?
Yeah. Let's go.
I had a number of topics to talk about today. I was going to talk about...
Vision?
No. I've talked about that all week. I was going to talk about...
How many badges you can have on one shirt? How much ego one person can
We
have?
should get Conrad a little uniform, that little guy from Up, that little kid from Up with all the badges and stuff.
Sorry, please, go on.
If there's only 4 people in the room, there's probably 3 times as much freaking crap coming my way. So there was a few things I wanted to talk about. Actually, the topic that Travis alluded to yesterday, I find very interesting, because being a basketball coach, it's probably something I want to come back to in relation to what's more important, minutes, knowing your minutes or getting the win. That to me is an interesting debate, and it's one I've been debating with a lot of Y-Genners, since I've been coaching basketball, and some have actually chosen more minutes than to win basketball games, which to me is flabbergasting. I don't understand that.
So as in they're just expecting more minutes?
They would leave a championship team to play more minutes on a losing team.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that's an interesting topic, and I'll probably want to come back to that when we've got a few more people in the room that we can throw the debate around, because otherwise it'll just be Travis and me just banging heads with each other.
And
so the other night, I can't go into too many specifics, but I do want to talk about the topic. The other night I came across, I had a chat with someone, and they told me a story about someone in their friendship group who's just had a marriage breakdown. And it's transpired recently that the wife's walked out on the husband 17 years after he had an affair, and then has proceeded to tell the children, who didn't know anything, and then has gone into forcing him to sell the house, sell the business, not attending counselling with him, and the kids are now angry at him and don't even want him to see the grandchildren. The 7 grandchildren at play. Now, it's a topic pretty close to my heart, based on me being a single dad and stuff I've gone through. But without being male or female, I think the topic I wanted to throw on the table today is forgiveness, and the value on it, where you guys see it in your lives. How do you treat it? Because to me, that's a pretty disastrous situation to get to after 39 years of marriage. If you think that that's where it has to get to.
That's the ultimate lack of communication, isn't it?
100%. Yeah, I would agree. With
Extremely calculated as well for 17 years.
Yeah. Yeah, we talk about the dark side, right?
Everybody's got it in them.
That's pretty big though. I mean, it hasn't sat with me real well.
Gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it hasn't sat with me real well, unfortunately. I don't know what else I can do other than, I'm coming close to make myself available to talk to the bloke in general, because he still wants his wife back. That's what he wants. That opens another Pandora's box to me. Should you want that, if this is the actions that have been transpired? So it's probably a bit of a Pandora's box here, but I guess I just want to get your gauge on where forgiveness sits within you guys.
This is the second time we've talked forgiveness.
forgiveness.
I think we've touched on forgiveness once.
Very early on. But for me, I'll jump in on that. I think forgiveness is one of the most powerful emotions for me, because when I don't practice forgiveness daily, I know I hold a lot of anger and
Well, where does it start with you, Trav? I mean, when you say practice forgiveness, what does that mean?
Well, say if it's something I don't agree with, or I don't, not within my values, I'll probably have to look at it and go, does it actually really affect me? If it doesn't, then I've got to let it go. If it's something that really affects me, then yes, I've got to process it much different.
So hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
Your partner cheats on you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big breach of trust. How would you process something like that?
It's hard to say because you've never really been through it, have you? But I don't know.
It's hard to say, but I can't say I would. But I mean, to hold on to something for 17 years is...
So would it be confident to say you
rough.
wouldn't hold on to it for 17 years?
Look, I think knowing what we know now and the toolkits and what we've been exposed to, I'd like to think that we wouldn't hold on to it for 17 years.
Because it's twofold here, right? Holding on to it, but then using it in such a destructive manner.
Yeah, the outcome, holding on to it to then use it in such a delayed time frame.
Because I mean, even
is just mind.
Because for her, that would have just been eating her as well. Like it's sitting inside her.
But the reaction to come out the way it has, it would have had to have burnt through you somewhere.
You've lost 17 years of great life that you could have lived, if you had processed it differently.
But then this comes back to the question then, really, who here is suffering?
Okay.
Because the other point of it is, if the other person involved was having an amazing time and a great time for 17 years and was actually really happy, yet this other individual was holding on to something and was secretly unhappy, even though this is obviously happening now where it's flipped, who was really the one that was was not happy? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
In that, if you think about it, that's 17 years that individual has now lost. They were the prisoner. There's that saying you talked about.
Exactly right. You're imprisoned yourself, right?
Yeah, when you hold on to a grudge
and you
finally let go of it, you realise you were the prisoner the whole time. Because that other individual...
It's that hot cold thing.
The male,
I think the quote's about the hot cold.
That might have been the best 17 years ever.
Yeah.
Right? So really, even if he loses all of that, which is terrible and shit, I mean, he's not the one... there's those other elements, but if you look back, he had the better deal to some degree.
Well, he moved on, right? He focused. He probably revalued his life with his family.
Yeah.
He probably reignited his life for his partner, and all those were transpiring from whatever misconduct he had.
And I mean, at the time, was he the one that admitted it, or did she
I'm not
catch
sure.
him?
I'm not sure about that circumstance. I don't know that data.
But that's why he still wants her back at this point.
Because he values her.
Yeah. He's moved on from the fact that, how you were just saying, he moved on from the fact 17 years ago, processed it, and
he would have
revalued it.
He would have assumed that she moved on as well.
Yeah.
To get to this point, you would have assumed that the other partner involved, and again, maybe it's a bad assumption, who knows? But,
There's communication on all levels here that just isn't working, or hasn't.
You would have
obviously
thought so.
hasn't
I mean, you would have thought so. I mean, but to me, it seems to be super calculated.
Even keeping it from the kids as well.
To me, it seems super calculated when it comes down to that. I just don't know. You know, as a human being, that's big.
As I said, that would be eating. Like, there's parts of her that are probably...
Mike, you've done a lot of reading and talking about this dark side of human beings, mate. I mean, that to me is the darkest thing I've heard in recent times.
Yeah.
You know, forget killing anyone.
It would have
or
been sitting
anything
with her that every hour, every day, I reckon.
Now you get, what, less than 20 years for murder, man? I mean, that would have tortured herself, let alone what impact she's doing now into the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing too, probably, which will be tricky for them, is the situation now is temporary as well. And this is all the hype. So all the reactions and everything are going to be heightened.
Well, I'm not sure how temporary it is because she's forcing sales of assets, mate.
Well, that's different. But the situation's temporary regardless.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
Regardless.
So
whether they do need to move on.
So can I throw something else out there? You say, Travis, you practice forgiveness. I do something similar. How does self-forgiveness sit with you? Because when you talked about forgiveness, when you were talking about it, to me it sounded external.
Yeah.
Do you ever find that you breach your own value system?
I think well, I guess everyone does.
I think,
At some point.
Yeah.
I think if you don't, you're kidding yourself.
Well, you're not human, are you?
Yeah.
So in practice, I'm just picking up on what you were saying, because when you were saying that you were practicing forgiveness, it tended to be externalised. When do we practice self-reflective forgiveness, self-forgiveness?
Well, that's self-reflection. Is it?
Is
I
it?
think it is. Yeah.
I think forgiveness is an actual chore, is an actual thing to do. I think reflecting gives you the opportunity to be aware. It's like that thing. You can see the door there, but you don't have to walk through it.
Well, self-forgiveness is far more powerful than external forgiveness.
That's my belief. Yeah, that is my belief.
Yeah.
Because if you can't... See, I liken forgiveness to lightening your load, right? Because if you don't forgive yourself, you carry guilt. Guilt to me is lead.
Yeah.
The more guilt you carry, the less you can fulfill your mission in
Well, if
life.
you can't forgive because everyone else might around you, in theory, might actually forgive you or not, and you can't never control anyone else's state or whatever. So if it comes back to, there's only two things you can control, is the way you think about a situation or take action,
the way you respond.
or the way you respond. So I would agree, self-forgiveness is more greater. But then practicing it, I think, outwards allows you the opportunity to self-forgive. If you don't practice it that way, I don't think you could ever then... you can't continue to walk through and self-forgive yourself and never forgive anyone else.
So this is the thing, right?
Like that just doesn't... I don't think that is
Because
possible.
when you stand in forgiveness on another human being, I think... And I struggle and I grapple with this from time to time. I believe it almost puts you in a position of judgment of another human being.
Yeah, well, you're saying you forgive them, so you're saying...
You're beyond reproach.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you practice self-forgiveness and you forgive through yourself, I almost believe that's where you have to be with forgiveness. You can't just stand here and dictate forgiveness.
Do you... Sorry?
I was just going to say, like, who are you to say, I forgive you?
Yeah.
Like, because it's all the judgment in your head anyway, isn't
100%.
it? So...
Do you think forgiveness is sometimes perceived as weak?
I think it has been, at times in history, perceived as being weak. I can specifically talk to you about a situation back in 2010 where, I mean, you guys know I'm a practicing Catholic, so I do go to confession, I do seek forgiveness at different stages for different things. But a priest made a very, very moving statement to me on that day. It was actually just before Easter. And he said to me, Conrad, before you sit down, you do realise that you're forgiven. And whilst I got that, it had a pretty profound impact on me, because it was around a year after my dad passed away, around Easter time. And Easter, for Catholics, are very significant in relation to forgiveness. And it allowed me to reflect on the things that I hadn't necessarily forgiven myself for. And it was almost synonymous around that time that, I guess I processed a lot of that back guilt, and then I started to see things differently, a lot clearer. And when I see and hear these things, it just sits with me thinking, how the hell can anyone do that to themselves? Let alone impact 1 or 10 other human beings because of it.
Yeah. She was willing to give up her 17 years
Yeah.
just to get this.
Yeah, now she's potentially
whatever
damaged the future
kids as
for
well,
the kids and the grandkids.
Yeah.
You know, we judge murder pretty badly. We judge rape pretty badly in this community. To me, that is calculated and diabolical.
But if you were to step into the other side, do you think this is her form of trying to process that? Because there's a lot of that stuff where people are married and then they do it for the kids, right? And they wait until the kids are done and then they call it quits.
Yeah,
for
and
whatever
I
reason.
get that, but taking that next step when you're contaminating the future of other people because of your output, your decision to do that.
But that just, doesn't it not come back to the ego is too strong?
Yeah.
If ego is too strong,
Well,
you
'cause
can
that
never forgive.
Because that cannot be the vision you're aiming for, right? Because you're aiming to cripple a person. That can't be your vision.
Particularly if it's your own kin.
Yeah. So what's her motivating factors? Would have to be, egoic. Has to be. It has to be from the ego. The ego was damaged. The belief system was tarnished, and you're reacting, not responding, in a way that's very calculated.
I think going back to your point about forgiveness being weak, I think that's viewed like that by more people than it isn't, if that makes sense. I think forgiveness is viewed as a very weak asset to a lot of people.
Because the reason that I went down that is because of a little bit of a train of thought of vulnerability lately.
Yeah.
And, I'd be interested to know if you think forgiveness is actually being vulnerable.
I believe it is.
As well.
Mm. And I think it's more humility than it is vulnerability.
And vulnerability is being perceived as weak as well.
Yeah. But I still think it's humility. And I think you could even argue humility is weak.
Because sometimes there's that, stand your ground and, you revenge and all of that, and that's not acting out of forgiveness.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll be honest with you, mate. Part of me wants to go and shake that woman and say, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Look at the numbers. North of 60 or south of 25, men's suicide rates are that damn fucking high. What do you think you're doing?
Yeah, but that's, I think, as well with the individual, not being able to obviously understand externally.
A powerful thing to do is to look at other people and see yourself in them. Like put yourself as like we're all kind of in the same boat.
So I'm in this man's shoes, man.
Yep.
Because I've been there. I've not seen my daughter for a period of time. I'm in this man's shoes. And thankfully, I wasn't acting out the way he is for a variety of different reasons. But, yeah, to me, this is not just him, though. I see this in men, which is what my problem is.
So it's now up to him. Okay, she didn't forgive him, and she did this 17 years. So what's he going to do now?
So my belief, how would you respond as a person in this situation?
Forgive her. Is this what you're sort of saying? Should he just forgive her?
Move on.
Well, I think that would be the best scenario for him.
Yeah.
Because then
Empower yourself,
he can
right?
then start patching things up.
Yeah, because if we bring it back to the performance equation, to perform at your best in this situation, you have to do and believe. Okay? Now, if you believe that you want her back or that she will come back to you, you're not going to take the action. You're going to wait.
That's a delusion he can either sit with for the next 20
That's
years.
right.
Or
so that means he's going to perform at a low level. We'll call it delusion.
Yeah.
Okay? If he did and didn't believe, so if he did everything to try and get her back but didn't believe she can come back, he'd end up blaming her for stuff and blaming him for stuff.
And that's the easy way out kind of for him, isn't it?
Exactly right. So to take control of this situation, he needs to do and believe in a path forward, which means he has to do and believe in himself. I let go. I did something wrong. I let go. I forgave myself. I love my partner. I love my family. I provided for them for the last 17 years of my life. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, he's got to look at that as a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. be grateful for what he did have. And as you said, Travis, I mean, he's had 17 years where he could have been living the life.
And he's delivered what a man would do.
Yep.
Like, his kids are married, he's paid for all their weddings, and he didn't scrimp on anything.
Yep.
Ran a shop, worked hard.
So yes, he made a mistake.
Yeah.
Is he now paying for it? I mean, who knows? I
think he's paid for it.
She is the one.
She's trying to switch by
She will pay for it.
You would think so, right?
I think so.
However the world works, I can't see how an action like this goes condoned.
Action, the karma, is in Hindu is action.
Yeah.
So every action has a reaction. So I'm reading the Gita just now, and that's what life is. Anything you do, no matter what little thing it is, something is happening. There's an energy flow pushing forward somewhere.
Can I read to you guys just a passage on forgiveness? We forgive others when we let go of resentment and give up any claim to be compensated for the hurt or loss we have suffered. The Bible teaches unselfish love is a basis for true forgiveness, since love does not keep account of the injury.
Yeah.
So that's a whole unconditional love thing, right? Which I think I still am challenged that human beings at an adult level can love unconditionally.
Yeah.
I'm massively challenged on that.
Yeah.
So what love are we giving? We're giving conditioned love.
Yeah.
No, I can't look after my daughter unless she looks after me or loves me. What is it that we're doing? Is it really love?
Yeah.
Because love, by definition, should be unconditional.
Give to give, not to give.
To give to receive.
Don't give to receive.
Yeah. So you should not be hurt by another person's actions.
Yeah. Well, one of the most powerful things you see is, say, a family, somebody been in a car accident, drunk driver, kills a young kid, and the parents end up forgiving that person.
Powerful.
You don't see it very often.
No, you don't see it very often. But you see social people say, throw the bloody book at him or whatever.
That's the ultimate. You say forgiveness is weakness, but that's the ultimate strength.
That is the ultimate strength. I think it's perceived weakness.
There's a great video, and I'm going to not get the details right, of a victim from the Holocaust, a survivor. I'm not sure if anyone's seen this.
Yeah, I've seen this.
And she lost everything. She was actually a specimen, literally, for being tested on, cut up, drugged up, all this stuff, and she managed to survive. And they found, I don't know if it was the exact doctor or an associate or a German Nazi
that was involved.
And they, 50 years on, they recorded it all, and she was on a massive mission to actually find him.
Wow.
It's a very powerful video. I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking back to it. And she forgave him for everything that they did.
How powerful is that for her?
It was huge.
It would just shed.
All right. Question then for this lady: it would be interesting to see how she would feel if he turned around and told her he forgave her and moved on completely. Yeah. I wonder what her reaction would be, because she's obviously...
she's wanting him to hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So she's playing it for 17 years. So he's empowering her and saying, I forgive you, or not forgive you, but I'm practicing forgiveness and I'm moving on. I wonder if she would actually turn around and just break down and go, holy fuck, what have I done? Or if she would...
It'd be interesting because it's exactly what William Whitecloud, that author mate of mine, told me when I was going through this issue with Jacqueline. Right, I reached out to him and he had, what's going on, bro? And I told him the issues that were going on, and he goes, I'm going to tell you something real hard right now. I'm going to tell you to disengage, stop talking, stop creating, stop adding fuel to the fire. He goes, go the opposite way, and effectively I did that.
Because they're doing this to expect an outcome.
They feed off that drama, right?
Yeah. They're doing it for pure revenge. You disengage them and disempower them to do anything when they've got nothing left to attack with. Because this is all just attacking.
Yeah, so it's owning your own stuff. I did something wrong.
Sorry. Last week we went through the bully video. I said about the bully video. It was actually bully week in schools. My partner's a school teacher, and she shows the kids the bully. And say you and I'm the bully and you're not.
You are a bully.
You're the bully. You're the bully in this situation. And
Conrad should be the bully.
Yeah, Conrad's attacking me, say, and I agree with Conrad. It takes all the power from him. So same scenario. It's just a different analogy. So if I'm manipulating people to hurt you. If you accept that and take the power away from me, you can't hurt me.
And this is the Stoic philosophy.
It's
man.
the high
Like,
path. It's the high road. But
you
it's
have
so hard to get
You have
to.
control, yeah. And this
Yeah.
is the thing.
Can I just wrap up quickly by talking about what forgiveness doesn't mean, so we don't get very confused, right? Forgiveness does not mean condoning the offence. It doesn't mean pretending the offence never happened. It doesn't mean allowing others to take advantage of you, and it doesn't mean pardoning without any valid basis. So forgiveness is something that's very serious, and hats off to those who practice forgiveness. I would challenge those who play with forgiveness to reflect and look at self-forgiveness.
It's really powerful. Like even working in a team, I've had moments where, again, of misalignment of expectations on something super simple, and people get really frustrated. And it's like, you just got to practice a little bit of acceptance and forgiveness that other people are a little bit different, and it changes the whole game. And especially even in a team environment, I'm sure sport would be the same, where if you could just forgive someone, like in the basketball sense, not passing it that perfect way, and you just move on with it, let go of it, and continue to move on. I think it's one of those little things that, if you continue to practice, like gratitude, it's super powerful. And then when you get struck with an enormous, devastating blow of that nature, I think if you've been practicing, you've got to step up to the plate.
So your advice, Trev, would be for him to forgive her?
Absolutely.
Mike?
Definitely. He has to. That's the only way forward, I would have thought, for him.
Justin, any other tips?
No, I agree. I mean, what left could she do?
It's funny, right? You just flip that.
What else could she do?
You take. I don't like the word about taking the power back, but you almost do.
You do. Because energy flows where the power is, right? So if you take that, then the energy has to be with you.
And this comes, if you take responsibility for the situation as an individual, how do you influence and change it? A, disempower. Whatever the damage is done, acknowledge it, acknowledge the reality, and then look to slowly mend it over the next... It might take 10 years. Shit. It's terrible. It's devastating. It might take you 10 years to mend, but if you've got a vision of, my vision is to mend this to get it back to where I'd like it to be, slow step one at a time and take responsibility. Forgive her and even the people who are jumping on her view or her opinion.
Forgive
them. Go, I understand why you feel that way. And whatever needs to be said is said. If they don't reciprocate, forgive.
That's good, it's fine.
Move on and let time do its part.
Work,
and you continue to do your thing, and I'm sure eventually it would come around. With particularly the vision in mind too, personal vision.
Yeah, what is that vision?
What is the outcome?
You love tying it up like that.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Mic drop again. No, we're done. Good night. No,
I think we're out.
And we're out.
Thanks, everybody.
We are out. Oh, shit. I was just joking. Oh, we're out.
No, I think we're what?
Well, yeah, we're going to be out.
We're done. All right,
Yeah,
thanks a
we're
lot.
out.
Wrap it up, bro.
Wrap it up. Simple minds.
Episode 17, mic drop. We're all out.
We're out.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Champagne.
Champagne.